Jeff Grubb, what time is it?
Ochoa, it's Hamilton time.
That's right. It's also time to talk about Resident Evil Requiem. I got the chance to play this the same day we had the showcase. And Grubb, cheesing time from left to right. From the second I left the preview, I needed to tell everyone on the staff that this has the juice.
Yeah, it's you seemed real excited about it. I was very happy to hear some of the things you had to. She's gonna have to get that looked at.
That's all the juice I was talking about.
Okay, it was all inside of her, and now it's the juice is loose. Is what they say about that.
So with RE Village and 7, not gonna lie, I was a little bit of a scaredy cat. So sure. I'm very happy that Leon is in this one. There he is sharpening his hatchet. And these segments where you're playing as Leon, action-packed, very much akin to an RE4, and a lot of this stuff was happening where situational, environmental kills are available and happening.
Yeah, so you were saying something like right there, the guy was holding the chainsaw, and the chainsaw is like a physical object, like it can continue doing its thing on the ground, so it will interact with things on its own.
Yeah. So what happened to me, Grubb, is so the chainsaw is spinning around there.
Yeah, look at that.
When I killed that doctor holding it, the chainsaw was going wild, and another zombie picked it up, and as she swung it back, it got stuck in another zombie.
See, that's exciting. That's the kind of thing where it's like, this is why they need both the scaredy cat stuff and the action stuff, because it sounds like they got systems that can really take advantage if there's a lot of chaotic stuff happening all at once. And Leon's gameplay would lend itself to that.
Yeah, and this is the segment I checked out. So we're still in the psych war that we've seen in various previews so far. And I think Leon really lends himself to these tight corridors because you can just pin a zombie up against the wall. Then after the Leon segment, I played through, the perspective changed to Grace here. And Grace's segments so far are very much akin to Village or 7, first person, very tense, very... I don't want to say that you feel underpowered as Grace, but you're definitely not as... capable for combat scenarios as you are with Leon.
And you could play in first or third, but I'm assuming it defaulted to first and you kept it there?
Yes. So this is footage given to us from Capcom. You do have the option to switch to first person or third person. I will say a little less scary going third, because as I was looking through this B-roll, I was kind of spooked. There are going to be various zombies throughout where you may not be able to take them out in one go. And also, this is a shared environment. This is going to be the same place that you'll navigate through as Leon.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
So what is that? What are the ramifications of that? Does that mean you can leave doors open for Grace, or you can leave ammo for her, or something like that?
So if you're playing as Grace here, because you're exploring this portion of the map first, there are certain doors that you can't open as Grace, so but you can open them as Leon later. Or for instance, maybe your health is okay with Grace, so you can just leave a couple herbs around for Leon after the fact.
Okay, okay, that makes sense.
And in my playthrough, I found that they're upping how tense the vibes are with Grace. Definitely de-emphasizing combat a little bit. Like you see here, she's just distracting one of the enemies versus trying to engage with them. Grubb, I want to take this opportunity to say, I was the first person to finish my demo.
Oh, you're a real gamer.
So I'm a real gamer. Yeah, and then you just wind up looking at fucked up shit like this.
Yeah, this is gross.
Yeah.
Visceral.
Visceral, yes. Goopy, even.
Goopy, yes.
So as Grace, you're picking up different weapons. The different weapons have different stats and everything. And ammo is very scarce. At least in the demo, the difficulty was tuned to normal, and there weren't a lot of bullets around where you could just kind of pop off all willy-nilly. So this is actually an interesting instance here, talking about a shared environment that Leon and Grace are going to spend time in. This is like an atrium, and, you know, Grace is a little bit underpowered. She's very limited on ammo, so she may not be able to defeat all of these zombies.
Right.
Cool. You got this. Yeah. Just push them away. And also, some of the zombies, they're not just... We saw that big hulking one in the kitchen. You have your regular ones that are just shambling around, and then you have someone like this lady, where she just screams because she's a singer.
Okay.
And that's...
I just scream because I'm a singer. I think that's what she was saying in that
that's what Sabrina Carpenter says.
That's what Sabrina Carpenter says.
It will stun you momentarily. And in my experience, there may be some zombies that aren't like... you didn't completely off them, and then like the screaming will I don't know if it's reviving them or it just wakes them up.
Oh, it kind of gets them going faster. Okay.
Yeah. So you may want to prioritize that. And also, there's some big boys as well in this game.
That's a baby.
I don't know what that is. This was some of the jump scares I came across. It's these like big hulking boys that kind of control zones.
Okay.
And so the other thing that sets Grace apart is that she has these blood syringes. And Grace, when you're playing as Grace, there's a crafting component. I think we saw some of this.
We did in the trailer.
In the showcase. Yeah. So she can craft ammo, she can craft some herbs if she has them, additional scrap, or these injectors. And these injectors kind of help with how Grace is kind of positioned more stealthily, I guess I should say. So if you sneak up on an enemy that hasn't noticed you yet, and you have injectors into your inventory, you can sneak up on them, and then they...
Oh, okay.
They
that
explode.
seemed to have a poor reaction there. He might be allergic.
Yeah. So then, you know, you'll shift... I don't know how often you'll shift around from Grace and Leon. It's the big boy we saw.
That's nuts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it if that happened to me.
No. You know, so Leon, you're a little bit better equipped. Here, he found a shotgun. But also, Grubb, I want to point out his health meter there. His health meter looks exactly like how it does from RE4.
Yeah.
And then Grace's that we saw earlier, it's like the kind of like pulse thing, or pulse image.
Yeah, it is. Okay, wow. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. There's another difference I want to point out later, but this was a fun little action-packed encounter. You're in a tight space. As Grace, you could not do anything to this big guy.
Okay.
But as Leon, you know, you have a shotgun, you have some other tools. And it's funny how they're straddling the line between super high-tense horror with Grace and then kind of like campy action as Leon.
Yeah.
Because look at this. Let's just finish him off.
Right. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, that doesn't feel like something that could possibly happen in the game that I was watching you play as, or watching the gameplay of that featured Grace. It's a very different thing.
Yeah. So this is an example of a door that Grace couldn't open. These drawers were jammed here, but Leon was able to pry it open with his hatchet. And this is the same atrium we saw earlier that Grace had to deal with.
This place is infested.
And you can stealth with the hatchet.
Okay.
Which is freaking killer. This is a little overkill to just do it to a regular zombie.
Sure.
But with Leon, you can kind of play with style. Because with Leon, you can like target specific body parts to kind of make them stagger. You'll have options for a melee attack. Or you can just pull out the shot.
Wow. Sure, yeah, I guess that would work from that range too.
Yeah. And as Leon, you will have options to, much like in RE4, or I guess RE5 as well, parts of RE6, you can pick up different components to improve your weapons. So I think where Grace may be more crafting, Leon is more just like upgrading and attaching parts to his weapon. Also, his inventory is pulled straight out of RE4. It is like the Tetris style inventory system versus like the little single pips of items that Grace had. And Grubb, I gotta say, like, I walked away from that demo. I was a little bit tense going in because I didn't have the most fun playing as Grace originally during a previous demo, primarily just because the horror aspect was getting to me, and it was just very tense because in that moment with Grace, you didn't really have a lot of tools at your disposal. It was very much a survival horror game where you are waiting for like the big bad to go across the hallway so you can skitter past them. And if they're going to keep going through this cadence of having Leon take up a good chunk and then go to Grace that has a good chunk, I feel like it's going to be a good balance for folks that want one specific branch of RE, or maybe they need something to break up the tension of playing as Grace, because for me personally, it can be a lot.
Yeah, the two games, the two sides of this game are way more different than I was even expecting. Like, I was expecting, like, yeah, Leon's going to have action stuff and she'll have kind of sneaky, be scared stuff. But like the fact that they have different UX and all this stuff, and yeah, it's way more different than I was anticipating. It does feel like two different games built into one. So then did you get a really solid idea of what does lead you from one character to the next? Is it one chapter's her, one chapter's him, or is there any GTA 5 on the fly style swapping?
So there's no on the fly swapping. I didn't include it in this set of B-roll because we're limited by a certain amount. But the last demo that I had played earlier, like in the middle of last year, ended with Grace being pulled away by a creature, and then this past preview event, you're playing as Leon, you get through that sequence with the chainsaw doctors and everything, and then you come across Grace being dragged away, and then Leon saves her. So I think there's maybe like a baton pass that happens throughout the story of Grace coming across Leon or Leon coming across Grace, and them kind of shifting as they go back and forth from there. I don't know, I can't speak to if there's going to be like an open zone area where you choose whether or not you want to finish like a Grace segment or a Leon segment. From what I played so far, the switching happens via the story. So after a chapter, theoretically, it would shift to maybe the next character.
Grace can use ink ribbons for saving on certain difficulty levels. Did you get to do any of that?
The normal difficulty I played in, there wasn't any ink ribbon management. I think it may be implemented for like the higher difficulties.
I think that is, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
I know that we didn't get the chance to show it off, Grubb, but there were a huge chunk of puzzles that were exclusive to Grace's segments versus Leon's. At that point, when you resume control of Leon, that we saw in like this footage, most of the psych ward had already been opened up because you're opening it up via puzzles through Grace's perspective. And those puzzles are your classic RE style of like, all right, I got to find this thing that is kind of like a key, but then I got to go into this other room. Oh, this key broke, so now I have to go find a replacement or something similar. You definitely do not want to leave any stone unturned in this game.
And in the puzzle stuff, you said that's a Grace thing almost primarily, and Leon doesn't have as much of that?
At least so far, in the parts I checked out, a lot of Leon's parts are primarily action and combat focused, versus Grace, who was doing majority of the puzzle solving from what I played.
Do you get the sense that the settings will kind of like be more varied than they've shown so far? We've seen sort of like hotel, hospital kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you get the sense there's more beyond that?
At the very tail end of my demo session, I had explored, I want to say maybe like 95% of the psych ward, which is the only environment or playable environment we've seen from previous showcases and trailers. So I'm assuming that we will eventually pop over to like a different place.
Right.
Yeah.
Almost certainly. Yeah.
And, story-wise, they make it make sense as to why Leon gets carried off or Grace gets carried off to, like, a different location. But so far in this demo, everything was isolated to this psych ward or this hospital.
Great. And then I think the last question I have, and then if there's anything else you want to talk about, you should. But did you get the sense that, like, there are safe rooms, like rooms that are completely safe from enemies, or is everything always a potential risk?
I was able to hide out in a couple rooms.
Okay.
It's less of a problem as Leon, just because Leon will always have his hatchet that he can use as a melee weapon. But as Grace, there were definitely parts where enemies would follow me into a room, or I wouldn't be able to save because there were enemies nearby. So there are definitely rooms that you can hide out in, but I wouldn't guarantee that the same room would always be safe. For instance, I ran into a room trying to hide from a group of enemies, and it was okay the first time, but when I had to circle back to that wing of the psych ward, it now had a dude inside. So be forewarned there, gang.
Yeah, I think probably stay on your toes for this one, I would say. All right, cool. Yeah, I can't wait. Parrying felt good?
Parrying felt good. They didn't show it in this little demo here, but it is one of the very first tool tips they show you as Leon is like, you just parry the attacks. Just do it. We want you to do it.
Just do it. Yep,
yeah.
Exactly. Anything else that you want to touch on?
Everything felt great, Grubb. Like, I don't mean
I can't wait
to glaze the game or anything, but like it is firing off on all bells and whistles. I'm curious to see the different encounters that everyone is going to have. Also, the puzzles, I did feel clever after solving them. And yeah, Leon felt drastically different to play as Grace. I feel like some people may have a little bit of friction with the crafting mechanic as Grace, but it definitely helps alleviate some of the tension of ammo scarcity or other supply scarcity. But yeah, I felt great all around. And if the first person view bothers anyone, I know some folks had a little bit of motion sickness from 7 and Village, you can play third person as Grace. Or if you want to go first person as Leon, you can do that.
Yeah, I'm going to play the whole game. Third person is Grace, first person is Leon, just to be a real weirdo.
Oh, switching things up, Grubb.
Just switch it all up. Okay, let's do some of the basics then, Jan. So this game is out February 27th, 28th, 20.
Fairly soon. I know it's February.
Double check. I think it's February 27th, though.
Okay.
And then it's coming out to everything. Basically.
Yep.
What did you play on?
I played on a PS5. I believe it was a PS5 Pro. Performed great. Like, I didn't notice any hitching, nothing bad with the frame rate. I'm not sure if we were playing on like a specific, mode of the game, whether it was like performance or visual or whatever. We didn't have that option available to cycle through. But if anyone is like at all concerned that the game won't be scary, rest assured it is. As Grace, I was getting spooked left and right, and even as Leon, I was still getting the occasional jump scare.
Yeah.
Another thing though, I think maybe off-putting for me and for our crew, I think we'll dig the shit out of it. Is that Leon is spouting corny line after corny line.
Yep.
And he is just leaning fully into the himbo action star that he was always destined to be.
Is he still pulling it off? He's like 50 in this game. He's still got the bomber jacket. He kind of looks like he's losing it a little bit, and he's still trying to keep his youth.
He is like the pinnacle of the male form.
Okay.
Like, not only is he still slaying zombies left and right, even though he's also slaying. Grubb.
Yeah, it's February 27th, out everywhere. Man, cannot wait, Jan.
Yeah. And I'm very excited to see how the game will open up as well. And so far from like the story bits that I did come across, it is very interesting. Also, your folks, don't worry, there's still a bunch of notes and miscellaneous things and pictures to observe and look through. Definitely this will be a game to also have a little notepad around just in case for the puzzles.
Excellent.
Well, thank you, Grubb, for joining me
Thanks,
in this
Jan.
little preview. Resident Evil 9, or Requiem, out soon. Let's just get in my Porsche now, Grubb, and drive away.
Okay. Yeah, well, let me check my watch here. Ooh, it's Hamilton time again.
Whoa,
Man.
oh my.
Twice in 1 hour.